Welcome to Read the Tape. I'm Mike Shapiro, and I'm here with my co-host, Rodney Mathews.
Rodney Mathews here, a.k.a. Real Estate Rod.
How's everything going?
Everything's going good. You know, I know that we're really excited to be shooting this episode here today on Juneteenth. I got my shirt on in celebration. And I know, obviously, it'll come out later on, but something recently that just happened with me that I want to talk to you about because I was just so excited. A couple weeks ago, I got to speak at the USC Black Student Athlete Summit.
Wow.
And why that was so special to me, obviously bringing that up on a day like today, but why it was so special is coming from that background and that community. Specifically, we talked about social media, brand deals, NIL deals, and how to navigate that world. And I think that's so special, especially with the guests that we have on today, with their product, with Spotlight Social, and how they can help integrate student athletes or content creators and how we can move forward in this new world, especially with AI.
Absolutely. What an honor to be given that opportunity to speak like
I was very grateful, man.
Congratulations.
It's definitely one of those life-changing moments for me to speak in front of all my peers and all current student athletes today. I mean, we had athletes from Tulane, Villanova, USC, all throughout the country. And they were locked in with great Q&A. And so I just want to give them a special shout out on a day like today. And I'm really grateful for all the people at USC and USC Black Student Athlete Summit. So thank you so much. And yeah, Mike, we can go straight into it.
All right. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Read the Tape.
And today our special guests are Todd Holland and Chad Johnson. Guys, first off, I gotta say your names are so cool. Okay, I know Google search has to be a little tough nowadays, but you guys have some really cool names. We're really excited to have you on the podcast today. And obviously, we got to discuss the elephant in the room. I heard that they call you Bad Chad. Is that correct?
Yep. I believe we were on the same show.
We definitely were, and I'm sure we had two completely different story arcs, which we're going to briefly mention today. But can you talk a little bit about where Bad Chad started?
To give a quick background, I never intended to play the bad guy. I just noticed that everybody was really bad actors on my season. And so when I initially, once I started calling them out.
I'm sorry, what season were you on? Just to let the
season
audience
12 with JoJo Fletcher, and then she ended up getting with Jordan Rogers.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, I never intended to play the bad guy, but once I started calling everybody out on being bad actors and just pretending like they were in love with this girl, then I was already hated. And then once I knew I was already hated, I was never going to be friends with anybody. So then I was like, okay, well, let's just niche market this thing. And if I just play the bad guy, nobody else is trying to play that. And so that's kind of what led us here. And then it just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
Mentally, though, was that a tough and a rough start for you on the show, or did you just kind of take it and accept it? Like, you know what, I can get through it. It's easy for me. Like, how did you feel about that at first?
I mean, at first it was fun, I just thought it was hilarious because there was a whole group of guys that didn't know that I was actually acting too, just better than them. You know what I mean? And so they were all scared of me. I thought it was hilarious, and but then it started getting exhausting because they kept trying to get me kicked off the show. Jeez. So then I was like, okay, now I'm acting, but I'm actually kind of upset because they're trying to get me kicked off the show. And it's like...
So you became Bad Chad.
So I became. So then I ended up falling into it. And half the time I'm like, I don't even know if I'm actually angry right now. I think I should be probably. But I'm half acting, but I'm half am kind of upset. Because it's like you're trying to build a business. And, everybody knows TV is a business at the end of the day. And they were trying to cut it down. If you're trying to build a Red Lobster, imagine somebody coming in and trying to shut down your Red Lobster on day 2. And you're like, dude,
but it does take more energy to be angry than being nice, though, doesn't it? It's takes more energy.
Not really, not in that instance.
You think it comes natural to him, Mike?
Yeah, it was very
bad.
natural.
It's just comes natural. I like that.
Yeah. I learned from my dad, So I just kind of.
Oh, there you go.
Well, he's not angry anymore. Back in the day, though.
Is he nearby? I'm kidding.
Can he hear us right now?
Hopefully not right now.
Were you friends with anybody from the show, or did you just completely cut off everyone?
The weird thing was I did have good friends when the cameras weren't rolling.
Gotcha.
And then when the cameras would roll, I would still try to be friends with them, and then they would attack me, and I would be like...
off camera?
Yeah, off camera.
Wow.
There were dudes that I was having the biggest beef with on the show, but off camera they'd be like, hey, will you make me some chicken? And I'm like, no, dude. You just attacked me on camera. You can't
Can you make
do
me some
that.
chicken? I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not going to cook you
Did
chicken.
you make a good chicken or something?
I was making great chicken.
Oh, there you go.
Because I was cooking. I had to
chef
cook
on the
5 times a day,
Jeez.
So, yeah, they don't bring you food on mine. I don't know if they did on...
You guys didn't have the chefs?
No, they had chefs.
Yeah, we were getting
No,
meals.
we had nothing.
Well, how many episodes? How many seasons later?
Well, you were season 12. You
Yeah.
said I was season 18.
Okay.
And so I
So
guess a good
different.
amount of time in between.
Right.
I was on the show 2021. So yeah,
Well, there you
we
go.
had some especially during COVID times. It's like you put your mask down. You got to make sure you get your test, and then you get your food. So yeah, I'm sorry that you had to cook back then. I know times have
I had
changed.
to cook breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. Yeah, they didn't
You
bring
guys
us-
were cooking on your. Oh, but you were also in the mansion, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
we
Yeah,
didn't
90%
get
of my
the
time was there. The next place, I feel like I don't even remember eating there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we
It's really
didn't really
funny.
do anything other than like sleep, and they would bring
Yeah.
in whiskey.
Oh, jeez.
You know?
How many shows did you do total?
I mean, if you count like guest appearances and stuff like that, because I was on Ben and Lauren's too. So
Okay.
Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, the Ben and Lauren show, and then MTVX on the Beach, Celebrity Big Brother UK, Famously Single on E.
That's a resume.
Oh, so you're busy.
That's a whole
Yeah,
resume.
just-
Wow.
It'd be like every 9 months or so you'd
Yeah.
get another call, for a period of like 5 years.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And did you have a show that you could say was your favorite or you truly enjoyed being on, or no, it was kind of all the same and blended in?
Famously Single was fun because that was like me, Ronnie from Jersey Shore, and these two
wow.
wild UK dudes, and we just went wild the entire time.
good
you know what I
time.
mean? Yeah, it was just like it was basically a 24/7 party for like 3 weeks straight.
Where was that
And just
shot at?
occasionally we'd have to sit down and talk about feelings, when half the time I'm not even there. Like,
Where was that shot at?
that was like downtown LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like some warehouse built out. Like the upper floor was a house, and the lower floor was just like a straight car garage. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Okay. Sorry, I know that we could
No, it's
we could talk
interesting.
all day. Todd, I'd love
Yeah.
to include you. How did you two end up meeting?
Chad and I met at Mike and Karen's office about 6-7 years ago. Way too long ago.
This is what Mike does. He brings people together.
He's a master networker.
Yes.
It's really, really something. And Chad was starting a supplement company at the time called Elite Shape,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, I still have my Elite Shape T-shirt. It's never fit
Nice.
me. It still doesn't, but I keep it in my drawer. It's a
What
memorabilia.
size is it?
Too big.
All right.
I overestimated my bulkiness.
There you go.
And so years went by. He showed up on my podcast maybe 4-5 years after that, and then we started working together on this project maybe about a year ago. Less.
Yeah. He gave me a call and he was like, "Hey, let's start working on something together." And so I kind of started thinking of some ideas, and then he started, and our ideas happened to like basically match up like exactly on what we were both thinking. So
Yeah, kismet for sure.
just move forward.
So this show's all about being an entrepreneur and like how you create wealth and success for yourselves and others. So let's talk about that. Like, what's the product? What's the company?
Basically, we're taking all of the like most state-of-the-art, up-to-date AI tools that are available online, and then bringing them together into one place, so that people can utilize and grow their social media accounts, social media as well as like small businesses and stuff like that. We're initially going to focus on the social media people just because that's kind of my network, but the eventual goal is that everybody can be using this system and all of these tools in one location to be able to grow, monetize, and manage their businesses. On
So
the internet.
are you creating the tools or you're sort of aggregating the tools? Like explain
Some
that.
creating and some aggregating.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a hodgepodge. I mean, essentially, we like to think of it as an all-in-one tool for creators to be able to not just generate more views, but more followers, more clicks, more sales. So we took everything that I know, we took everything that Chad knows, and we're like, let's smash all of this into one piece of technology and see what people do with it. And so far, it's been good.
So can you? I don't mean to belabor the point, but like explain it to me. So you're a creator. You buy your service, or like just explain to me the whole process.
Yeah, so let's say I'm a creator and I've got podcast episodes like this one, like you guys have.
Right.
You'll go on with, these kind of podcasts. You'll take home the clips. You'll use our software to cut it up into reels with captions and B-roll and all that stuff. And then you'll promote it on our social planner. So you can promote our reels and our podcast episodes and everything like that across all your different accounts. From there, you're driving people to funnels and websites function that we have where people can just immediately create a website using AI, create a funnel using AI without a whole lot of work, and then we turn it into sales from that. And so the idea there is we turn views into followers, we turn followers into clicks, we turn clicks into sales, we turn sales into more followers. So we have a nice flywheel going.
So you're an expert in funnels. I mean, you were like one of the original guys, and I remember talking about this like 10 years ago.
A long time,
Yeah,
yeah.
a long time. So you're basically taking it further. So you're taking the whole funnel approach further and more specific to creating more opportunities or more funnels, for lack of a description. Would that be describing this accurately?
Yeah, so just the ability for an influencer or a creator to create an ecosystem out of what they create, so they own all the revenue, all the monetization they could possibly generate. I mean, that's sort of the thing about creators. No one really gives them enough love, right? The only reason people use social media nowadays, in my opinion, is because of creators they like. Certainly, I like to see these creators, and that's why I log into Instagram and TikTok. I never use Instagram to check on my Aunt Gitty. I probably should check on Gitty once in a while, but I haven't in a long time. It's really just to watch the people I like. And so if they're the people that are driving all of the action, all of the activity on social media, it doesn't make sense to leave their fates up to these larger companies who really don't care about them other than just a way to bring people in. And so that's why we do what we do.
And right now in your guys' space, because it just sounds very innovative and creative, and I love that. And especially, I mean, very relevant to what we do, like you said. Do you guys have any other competition in this space? Are you guys really the only ones right now in the market able to help creators with this tool?
To be honest, there are a few places that do some of the things that we do. So, like, there is a video editor, that will take your reels, cut them automatically using AI. But there's also like a CRM system, and then there's an email autoresponder, and there's an autoresponder for Instagram. But there's nowhere you can do all of that stuff in one place. And if you go buy each of these tools individually, you're going to end up spending a couple grand a month.
Exactly.
And so if we can, combine all these tools for like under $300 a month or under $100 a month, we're offering what we feel like is a great service. So you can also not only save money, but you're saving time because it's all right here.
So let's talk about the inception. Like you spoke to one another, and then you obviously developed a business. So what was that process like? You had some ideas to begin with, and so bring me through that as an entrepreneur. And you've been a serial entrepreneur, Todd, as long as I can remember. Have you always been in your own business, or?
Yeah, I've done what I'm doing right now for the better part of 15 years. So the day I turned 19, I started a marketing agency. I had one client. I thought I was the king of the world with that one client.
Well, it could be the best thing. I mean, depending on the client.
Depending on the client, it wasn't one of those, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it wasn't a Mike Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen. I did not have a Mike Shapiro. But the inception, so, essentially we wanted to do this as a service for creators initially, where it's like, hey, if you're a creator, send us your videos and we'll turn them into reels. We'll set up funnels for you. We'll run ads for you. And then we're like, that's going to be a lot of work, and that's going to be really hard to scale because, everyone's got different preferences. Everyone's got different stuff they've got to focus on. So instead of that, we're like, what if we do a self-serve method? What if we build a software around this? And it took a lot of finagling and making sure that what we're doing is actually working and easy to use. But it's just a way to centralize all this stuff that people don't even think they need into one platform so they can, go out there and do what they love doing, which is creating at the end of the day.
I love it. So Rodney, this is good stuff for you. I mean, you're an influencer, so what do you think?
Yeah, this is perfect for me. This is why I'm so locked in right now in this conversation, guys. I was like, man, I need you, So what you're describing right now is everything that I need. And I guess my next question is in terms of connecting the creator and helping them monetize it. In what ways do you do that? Because right now, I'll have a brand reach out to me, we'll negotiate, set up a contract, and then I'll produce the deliverables. Do you guys connect these brands, or in what ways are you helping the creators monetize?
So, I mean, just off the bat there, let's say you're getting a DM from a company. Yes. We can automate the system to basically read your DMs, and then it's going to recognize that if somebody says brand deal or something like that, you have an auto response to say, hey, please send it to this specific email. Okay. So you could have it automatically send them a message to say brand deals at, fullname.com. And that automatically saves you time because then you can just check those emails.
Quick question: is communications always through DMs or direct message?
Not on our system. You can do it through anywhere.
From an influencer point of view, is it always that? Do they always communicate through the same platform that they want you to use?
For me, it's usually through a DM, through that platform, or through an email. Because a lot of creators will have their business email or their agency email, whatever it may be, marketing. They'll make sure that it's either through email or DM.
Right.
That's at least my
But
experience.
then you do get some smaller companies that will just straight DM you versus like having their marketing department actually email. And so that's what I'm saying. You can basically save some time and automate that system to where now it sends you an email and sends you a text letting you know that you've gotten an email through that.
So this is a critical piece. So like you're getting hundreds a day of DMs?
I mean, before it was a lot, but now I'd probably say like 5 to 10 a week, anything like that.
Like brand deals?
Yeah, to make sure, but in a sense of like what's real and what's not.
No, I'm
because
saying-
like
No, you get a lot of those like ambassador programs.
yeah,
where, like,
we'll get those. It's like, oh, you can get $50 for it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
like,
do
I
a
don't even
reel
have
for
time.
$50 for you.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
I'm
so-
not getting out of bed for 50
exactly.
But I'm
So-
saying, like, in other words, it's organizing your inbox for email. So it's like
Yeah.
it's seeing whether it's spam or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying you're getting hundreds a day of people interacting with you. They're watching they're trying to talk to you. So versus, something that actually can be monetized versus say, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah, and
So
you
you're
could
isolating.
streamline that whole process is
Right.
the thing. So like you have the thing called workflows, obviously, which, me and Todd have been talking about this a lot because, you receive a DM, it contains this word. It's now going to message them back in auto response, telling them to email you. Then it's going to notify you of this. It can send you a text. But our whole thing is we have to take all of these like complicated things that like Todd knows with marketing and then all of this complicated AI stuff and try to make it as simple to use as possible.
Okay.
So that the average person that has no idea how a workflow works can actually go in, input what they want it to do, and then it actually provide them like, a good value.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that you guys are talking about how user friendly it is too, right? So,
Exactly.
For us to partner up, for example, like that already sounds so much more helpful than what I'm doing on my own, being a real estate agent and still being a content creator at the same time. Like that's just a very difficult space to be in. So my next question that I'm thinking of real quick off the cuff is that do you guys set it up as like a tier-based system in terms of follower count or activity, or no, is everyone based on like the same type of package? Like what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean that's what's exciting about it is that whether you have 50,000 followers or 5 million followers, we have a flat fee. You just sign up for the monthly software, you can use it. The only limitation to that is going to be like how much AI someone needs to use, right? How many chat bots, how many things like that are going on. Chances are an influencer with 5 million followers are going to be getting so many DMs that
Mike Larry Wheels. We got to get Larry Wheels on it.
Yeah.
I
As
listened
soon
to
as
that
you said that
podcast.
at one of our last guests,
Larry Wheels,
followers.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's a great guy to talk about.
Yeah,
Five
I
million?
listened to that episode on the way down here twice in a row, actually. Larry seems like such an interesting guy in general. He's so young and he's so focused on the things he wants to do. Ryan Benson, I've been following Ryan for the longest time.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, I mean, he's like, and everybody wants to look like, Ryan Benson, right? Like that guy's yoked and he's been for a while. But Larry's going to go somewhere very, very cool. And I'm excited for that, for him.
He's pretty young too, isn't he?
So young.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
27 or something.
28? Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he told us.
Super young.
I can't remember.
I was just
27.
shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very young.
Man walked in looking like a tank. He's just
Wildly articulate too.
Both- yeah, both of those guys
Because you
got-
don't see those two things going
right?
together. Right?
And we talked about how like before he struggled with being articulate, and now he's been able to get training and just train himself to really speak so clearly. He was a great guest.
Yes.
Awesome. But yeah, well, sorry.
But yeah, they would be users for sure. They're
Yes,
both
I think-
influencers in that space.
I think
Yeah.
this program would be great for
Yeah.
him as well.
So hopefully they watch it.
Yeah. It better be. Guys, obviously talking so much about Spotlight Social, I'm just really excited. Like I told you, I'm already been locked in, but I want to make sure that I am going to be a part of this business and I want to be a user. So my next question is, what can other users expect? I know we've already talked about saving time. I'm doing everything manually. I'm going on Splice. I got to connect with a brand. What can users expect to make sure that you guys are guaranteeing that we could save them time and money while still increasing their monetization?
I mean, just being able to automate your DMs, number one, being able to set the autoresponders, being able to save all of that information basically in a CRM style system.
Okay.
So all of your DMs now, whether they're in the primary, the requests, or even, you get a ton of random junk ones in that hidden folder.
Exactly.
All of those are actually read through and it finds the ones that are actually relevant from real people. And then it saves those, store those into this system that you can then search through, sort, file, everything. So
That's crucial.
you never lose them anymore. Also, people can unsend messages but on Instagram, but they're saved. They're already saved in the system. Wow. So I found that beautiful by testing the system myself the last few days.
Oh, that's really
Which is
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. So what's great about it is, it can save you about 85% in terms of man hours spent on social media doing your marketing thing. What's interesting too, and might be a good segue, Rodney, you're a real estate professional, right?
Yes.
Chad, you're a real estate professional, right? Yep. Mike?
I think I am.
I think you are. For a real estate professional at this table, we'd be remiss if we didn't go into this.
Should we give our DRE numbers right now?
We should.
Is that required?
We should. So we all met at Alcoholics Anonymous as realtors. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. But Rodney, for what you're doing, and for any real estate agent who has a following, the power of that is being able to leverage that following and turn that into real estate business, turn that into buyers and sellers. And a tool like this, which there are a few, but nothing that quite does exactly like Spotlight does, is powerful for that, because you have all of this social media marketing that you're doing, these reels, these mentions, everything you're doing online. And with a tool like Spotlight Social, you're able to actually filter those in to a funnel, generate leads from that, generate sales from those leads, really for the most part on autopilot. And so for, as an example, Rodney, you're out there, hustling, you're working hard in real estate. You showcase yourself doing that. You localize your marketing and say, I'm helping all of Orange County do this. People will click on your profile. They'll click on your website. If you design your website using Spotlight Social, it'll be built like a funnel, which is a step-by-step binary decision. A website is great. Problem with the website, it's got 500 pieces of information, no clear direction on what someone needs to do. What do you click on? Where do you opt in? It's informational, right? A funnel is binary. Do you want more information about what I do? Yes or no? If yes, fill this out. If not, bounce off the website. We'll stalk you no matter what, because that's what technology is. And so from that lead list, then you're sending automatic emails, automatic text messages, automatic DMs, getting people excited, booking appointments for yourself on autopilot. From those appointments, you're actually turning those into meaningful, did they show up? Did they not show up? And you're able to really granularly look at every single person and guide that person on their journey to becoming a customer or a client. That's why it's so powerful. Like with Chad, his focus has been life insurance and IULs and things like that. Financial coaching and strategies is a big thing. That's initially how we connected, was can we build a system to get me more IUL clients, more life insurance clients from social media? And how do we do that effectively, and how do we do that in a way that will scale? Because with everything, simple is what scales, complex is what fails. If you're doing things too complicated, it might work, it might make you feel good, like this is proprietary, no one else does it this way. There's probably a reason for that. If you do it simply, you can scale that across markets. You can bring people under you. You can break your time up into the $10 an hour task, $100 hour task, $1,000 hour task, and you can focus on the green zones of what actually will get you to where you want to be. And a tool like this will help you do that. So not only is it a time saver, but it's also kind of a time optimizer in a way, because the stuff you're working on is stuff that will actually move that needle for you in your business.
And one thing essentially that I kind of realized as we were building this thing is we're kind of taking away that job, that $20,000 a month marketing manager job that most people, that really want to grow on social media has to pay. Like if you really want to grow your followers, you really want to optimize your social media, you got to hire someone for 10, 20 grand a month. And we're kind of taking that job away, because now it's going to take you 10 minutes 10 minutes a day to run this system versus paying out mass amounts to someone who's been doing it.
But isn't it this is kind of a controversial thing for me to probably say, but isn't it that all these people hold themselves out for I can really help you on social media, but really nobody ever really knows how to help anybody. So you're really just utilizing, you're not trying to beat the algorithm. So everyone's like, I can beat the algorithm. That's impossible. You're not going to beat, that's not Facebook anymore. Meta, thank you.
Right.
Sorry, really stuck with me, the new branding. So it really worked effectively. So I think it's interesting. So you're just saying, hey, I'm going to help you by utilizing, existing algorithms, and I'm just going to see what is really funneling to you and make sure it's going correctly.
Exactly.
Versus trying to beat it. I'm going to help you do all this.
Exactly.
It doesn't, which never works. It's an interesting trade. How are you going to beat Meta? How are you going to beat these companies? You're not.
But you can't.
You can't.
It's literally impossible with any profile. We all understand we're not people on social media. It's not a human rights thing. We're all people, but we're not people. We're a set of interests, behaviors, Google searches, things we bought. That's what makes up our profile. That's how the algorithm knows what to show us, so we'll buy. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of parameters per person. There is no way any human being can track that and honestly, with integrity, say, I can help you manipulate and beat that. the best that any social media marketer can do, and I might get flamed for saying this, is help you in a very small way to leverage the algorithm. Because the algorithm is going to beat any marketer out there. But if you can learn how to work it to your advantage, you can turn these social media platforms from like a place where I'm going to go complain about my day, or like just look at, people's ducks on Instagram, and you're turning it to something that's...
You are an expert in ducks, though.
I unfortunately am.
Yes.
I've made some tenuous life choices, and now I have 7 ducks. That's 7
I mean to
ducks.
segue into your ducks, but I love this part. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they live in the house.
2 of them live in the house. Yeah.
How does that work?
Poorly.
Do they wear diapers?
Yeah. So the 2 in the house wear diapers,
I have to see this.
and I've got a clip I can show you after the call here. But yeah,
Are they specialized duck diapers, or no? We could just do regular.
they are specialized duck diapers.
Okay.
They actually manufacture duck diapers.
So I buy my duck diapers from a lady in the Ukraine who makes them by hand. And I wish I was making this up. And for a period of time...
I thought you were messing with us.
No, this is real.
Very niche business.
Her name is Olga. She's lovely. She's a lovely lady.
Olga,
Shout
the
out to
homemade
Olga.
duck diaper lady.
Yeah,
I
and
like
so it was scary because during the Ukrainian war and all that stuff, she was like, I have to shut down what I'm doing. And I was like, well, here's how I can support you. Can I buy 30 duck diapers from you? And she was like, yes, but I can't make them until after the war's done. Anyway, about 3 weeks ago, I got a big box of duck diapers that I spent $300 for. So if anyone listening has unpotty trained ducks, please reach out to me.
Can you potty train your ducks?
You cannot.
Okay.
You cannot.
So these are very social animals.
As far as birds go, yeah. As far as
So they follow you around.
oh yeah, they're obsessed. So they are actually. I have 2 ducks that are in a relationship with one another, Mushroom and Gallifrey. They're both gentlemen ducks, and they're extremely in love. However, they both follow me around everywhere, to the bathroom, to the shower. They will follow me outside to my car and yell at me the whole time. I realize I'm talking a lot about ducks right now. I'm going to reel that in a little
All
bit.
right, I like it.
That's okay. We'll talk about.
I'll
duck
provide
run
resources
after
if necessary.
He said they'll quack at the screen when I come on when we're doing like Zoom meetings and stuff.
Yeah, so Dad's talking to the rectangle, obviously, the computer screen. So as soon as I start talking, they'll start quacking at Chad. And this thing happens with, and this is the last thing I'll say about this. Zoom cameras filter out a lot of noise. They filter out a lot of noise. So for a year, I was teaching a class to, startup marketers and like, how do you build an agency for yourself? And I was holding regular Zoom calls, and my ducks would just pop off like crazy during these calls. And I'd be like, guys, I'm so sorry. I apologize for the noise. It took a year for someone to be like, Todd, we don't know how to tell you this, but we've actually never heard your ducks quack this whole
wow.
time. And I'm like, so what have I been apologizing? Like, I've been apologizing for, do you guys believe that I have ducks? And one guy was like, no, we actually think you might be schizophrenic. And I'm like, no. I grabbed the duck and I held it up, and that didn't help the case for my mental health at all. But
just to prove you weren't crazy.
But exactly, Rodney. Exactly.
That's okay.
Let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's changed dramatically. Interestingly enough, when you were working with us at Sotheby's, we were doing early evolution AI, which is fascinating. We were trying to do correlative studies between the stock market and the housing market, and doing geo tagging. It was really interesting, and you were really kind of at the forefront. I mean, obviously, we didn't have the resources or tools to create what we have today as far as artificial intelligence. But let's talk about AI with what you're doing right now. What's your thought process? How are you using it? You're developing it.
So, I mean, one of the interesting things, and one of the ways we came up with this whole thing in general at the start was we saw that people were taking like TikTok clips, right? And everybody's taking TikTok clips and their own clips, and they're creating like 10 dummy accounts. And on those dummy accounts, they're changing the descriptions, changing the hashtags, but they're pushing that same clip out across 10 different like fake accounts and just basically increasing their digital footprint insanely. And so we put that into our system to where they can kind of do that automated now, basically. And the fact is, I think eventually when it comes to AI and using these types of systems, because we may be the first that's bringing it to social media, but we're not going to be the last. But eventually there's going to be, each person is going to be making 100 posts out of one reel, and the internet and social media is just going to be flooded with thousands of descriptions, all created by AI, thousands of clips, all cut up by AI. So it's just going to be a flood. There's going to be way too many posts by each person.
So
you're not going to be able to see anything really
effectively
real.
speaking, a dilution, or the concept of dilution in every kind of
Exactly.
a media outlet. So that's
Eventually the internet's going to get so diluted, when people start using either our system or one that comes along after, it's just going to, you're right, it's going to be, social media is going to be completely diluted. And so that's my only way of thinking of this thing, because I know once they use our thing and it gets out, it's going to just kind of destroy the world in terms of organic content. We're going to be helping the hell out of the people that use it, you know what I mean? But once the whole world starts using it, then you got an issue, because now you're increasing all the bandwidth of every
so they don't really have
social
to
media
take the
platform.
time to actually become a creator. Like they do
Right.
one video or one everything, and then suddenly the machinery is effectively creating for you.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't do anything. So you're saying, in order to effectively market, because that's what people are using these for, how do you monetize your channel? How do you monetize your fame? How do you monetize that? Your system will actually isolate that and bring it through from your funnel, right? Is that
Exactly.
kind of what I thought?
Yeah. Basically, it's just going to cause a flood from each person putting out 100 times the content that they used to put out.
Sure.
And I think that's just going to cause a lot of
Kind of
a lot
like
of
e-blasts.
posts. Yeah.
Does anyone really look at e-blasts?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's an e-blast?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just to piggyback on what Chad said, we have a love-hate relationship with AI. I love AI for what it does. I hate AI for what it does to people. I've built over 400 different learning language models. When people talk about AI and chatbots, what they're really talking about are learning language models. That's basically a way. And there's this concept called the dead internet theory. You guys ever heard of this? No. So in the future,
Yes, I read your promo.
So Mike has heard of this.
Because you
For
told me.
for the ones who haven't.
For the ones who haven't read my bio, glance. No. So the dead internet theory is basically that in the future, or some may say the present, the internet is going to be run by bots, AI bots that are posting, AI bots that are commenting, AI bots that are sharing, and people are going to be starved for any sort of meaningful, real, organic content. Some may say that we're pretty close to that right now. And so when I say I don't like what AI does to people, I think that it puts them in this position where they no longer leverage their own creativity. Mike, like you said, they don't become creators. They become like proliferators. Like they take a thing that they've made and push it and push it and push it, as opposed to striving to create something new. So if there are people out there who are, one-trick ponies, Inagata Davida, like one hit song type of thing, and they're pushing the same thing out there, the only way that we can see people stand out in any meaningful way is to do the same thing, but with their actual creation. So when we look at like Andrew Tate's podcast, for example, he's got hundreds of accounts like Andrew Tate Fans 1, Andrew Tate Fans 6. We love Andrew Tate. And all of these accounts are posting the same clip with the same caption, same timestamps and everything, just with a slightly different description. And that's what you have to compete with nowadays, which is challenging. You no longer have to compete with the other influencers out there. You have to create with the machines and the robots and the automations that influencer paid to have developed. And it's challenging. And that's why a tool like ours, I think, is so necessary. Because without that, you're literally going to be doing all this manually. And you manage one account, right? Like your social media.
Exactly.
Imagine having to manage 19 additional accounts just to get seen.
Not a chance.
It's 7 full-time jobs,
Yeah.
right? So that's just to piggyback on what Chad was saying. I think that, Mike, your question was, what is kind of the future of AI and how do we leverage it for our business? I'm someone who's been doing this long enough that I can say it's a little grim, the future of AI. I don't think it's going to be a net positive for humanity.
It's scary.
It's terrifying.
It's scary.
And it's resource heavy too. And this isn't obviously like an environmentally conscious podcast, like it's not what we're talking about, but
We're very environmentally conscious.
well, of course,
Yes.
but every time we run something on Chat GPT or Chad GPT, which by the way is the GPT that we created for Chad, so Chad wouldn't have to talk to people. So Chad GPT.
GPT.
We're really creative with names, Mike. We're
That's
really
really
good at it. Anytime you do that, it burns electricity. It's a resource cost that no one really talks about. And so there are people out there who are like doubling and tripling down and just, pushing AI. And that kind of, if everybody was doing that, the infrastructure would collapse.
Well, one of the original, as you know, I was a trader on the floor in Chicago, and utilizing early inception of algorithms to analyze markets. So the trading business or the equity business of I'm trying to create alpha or getting making more money was the early adopters of all this was in the financial business. So what's fascinating is what people don't see, because it was so advanced, or hedge funds or quant funds, they're writing all these software to analyze correlated behavior so they can in fact see where can they effectively make more money. Those models busted. It's really what you're saying is the dead internet theory. So the models busted and people stopped making money, and they had to continually recreate their models. Why did they stop making money? Because what is AI after all? It's in your own words. AI is only an analysis of human behavior, right? So it's only deciding like what is human behavior, and let's accelerate that model, right? So if in fact it's not human behavior anymore and it's feeding its own like sort of a feedback loop, which is your dead internet theory, then you're not really analyzing anything, and it'll collapse on itself.
So here's why this
Right?
doesn't work. Absolutely. Here's why this doesn't work in sort of the big picture of things. You can make models that analyze, like with chemistry and with physics, you can look at hydrogen atoms, and if like you heat hydrogen to a certain temperature, every single hydrogen atom is going to respond the same way. It's getting a little bit heady, I know. But with people, we're not hydrogen atoms. Every single person, if placed in the same situation, will respond slightly differently. And that's really what drives, I think, market changes, real estate behaviors, purchase behaviors. And so when you aggregate that into like an average of behaviors, yeah, you'll get some insight, but you won't get anything meaningful outside of this is what people are supposed to do, and you'll be disappointed with people not doing what you want done.
So your hands on the switch. In other words, you're creating algorithms, or you're writing software, but your hand's still on the switch, looking for the changes. So you're not allowed. There's like a human being still be part of the creative process. You're not allowing the machinery to take over, which is really the critical piece of the puzzle.
100%.
So the differentiation on your product is like, no, I'm always watching. So if I see trend changes, I'm going to put that into the algorithm rather than it determining it separately. That's good.
Thank you.
There you go.
Guys, I'm loving what I'm hearing. So what can myself and other creators do to be a part of this program and join?
So we're offering a 2-week free trial for the whole thing. So you can test it out, try it, see if it brings you value.
Okay.
And if not, that's fine.
Sign me up.
Yep, we're going to hook you up with everything. So you're all set. You guys are good.
Well, this is awesome. This is fantastic. Congratulations. I love following your career. You've always been, an entrepreneur, and both of you have been entrepreneurs for a long, long time. And so what's like a parting thing you'd say about being an entrepreneur? Like, what's a parting thing you say? Like, is the joys, or like what really motivates you to want to do this always yourself or be creative?
In a word,
Yes.
freedom. 100% freedom. It's not freedom from work, in my opinion. It's freedom to work, how I see fit on the things that matter to me. That's
like that.
That's why entrepreneurship is important. I mean, that's why I'm
Borrowing that. I'll give you credit.
You can steal it if you want.
No, I'm not stealing.
Chad, what about you?
My word, I think, would be laziness, because I'm ambitious, but I want to make things as simple as possible. And so I'm always striving to find ways to help people make their lives easier. And as long as you provide value, save people time, and that lets them live their life more so the way they want to, then I think that's doing something good for the world, at least.
I like that. One last thing. You have a book.
I do. I have
And
a book.
it's a bestseller.
It is.
So talk about it.
I will. So the book is called The 5-Funnel Solution. It is basically an amalgamation of the past 15 years that I've had in this business, all the things that I've learned, broken down to 5 actionable steps for business owners who, no matter what you're in, if you're in real estate, insurance, duck sales, for whatever reason, you can take that, you can build out the 5 things I say to, and you will have a predictable shot at winning in your market.
And so we'll put the link up so anybody who was interested in buying this book.
Thank you. It'll be awesome.
Thank you, gentlemen. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today,
thank you
guys.
so
We really
much.
appreciate your time.
It's been good.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us. It's been a really, really good time. Mike, before we go, I do have one thing I wanted to say to you, because people do people do tend to ask, sort of, who's your mentors? Where'd you learn some of this stuff? I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but 100% 100% of where I am today in my career and my business, I can trace back to working with you and with Karen. The 51%
nice.
method, that has been in my brain ever since, just failing fast, pivoting. So I wanted to thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
It's really very nice of you to say that. I appreciate you saying that.
I don't know if I'm a traditional success story or whatever you'd call it, but anybody who's listening, who's thinking, do I need to talk to someone who's been there already? Do I need to talk to someone who can mentor me to get where I want to go the way that I want to go while actually listening to me? Because that's one thing that you did differently. I've had a lot of mentors. I've worked for a lot of mentors. They don't listen. They're like, this is the way to do it, and this is how it's going to get done.
What did you just say? I'm kidding.
I don't remember.
There's an opening. Yeah.
But you listen, and that's
Thank you.
something that I appreciate, and I have grown from tremendously. So thanks, man. I really appreciate
Well, I'm
you.
super proud of you for, not for saying that, but for where you've gone and, where you began and where you are today. So I'm, really, really proud of you. Congratulations to both of you for the success that you have and the success to come. So
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Mike, one of the things that resonated with me the most today in our conversation with Todd and Chad is the fact that their Spotlight Social, with that program and that service, they're able to consolidate and be able to save creators time and money while still helping them make money on the back end, right? That's something that's so crucial for me. And I know that I've blown your ear up about it offline, but I want to make sure that talking about it and with anyone else in the audience that can relate, or content creators, and I know that we're going to have celebrities on the future shows as well, but for us to be able to, I get stressed out thinking, man, I got to go through Splice. I got to create my content. I got to contact
What's
with the
efficient?
brand, make
Right.
sure the deliverables are right, make sure the caption's right. For them to create an efficient program and be able to consolidate everything in one and say, hey, we're your one-stop shop, that is something that's so special that resonates with me for Spotlight Social. So what did you take away from today?
I took away from it as so two individuals that I've known for quite a while,
Exactly.
and that they're also serial entrepreneurs. So I took away this fantastic feeling that they're always doing things. They're always looking for opportunities. They're always looking for inefficiencies in the market and then filling those needs. So I just took away from that, like, wow, this is really great. Like, look where they're going. And they found this inefficiency in the marketplace is really needed, and try to sort of beat out competitors in an area that's, they call like blue ocean, red ocean, like what's available. So they really figured something out. So I took away like a very needed product. I think it was, obviously you need it, and many other influencers need it. And so I just, that's what I took away from. And sort of this spirit of always looking for those entrepreneurial capabilities, looking for what's the best thing, how am I going to create something and create opportunity. So that's what I took away from it.
Guys, you already know the drill. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to all of our channels and our platforms, and we'll see you next time on Read
We're
the
on
Tape.
all of them.
Yep.
And all the
All of
ones that not even exist.
The future ones
The
that
future
AI is
ones.
creating
Yes.
right now,
Yes.
we're already locked on
Yes,
those.
we're on those.
Okay, so follow that too.
Yeah.